Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to Monte Vista Unitarian Universalist congregation on this beautiful Sunday morning. I am Carissa Moore. I am the treasurer of your Board of Trustees, and here are today's announcements. I hope you're all ready for your popcorn and your sodas because it is movie time today. We are watching A Hard Day's Night starting at 12:30 today on our big screen. We have Taco Tuesday on Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Zoom. On Wednesday is the membership team meeting at 7 p.m. if you're interested. Also, on the 26th, we have Cups at 7 p.m. And that would be here, right? Yes, okay. Okay, and then on the 26th through the 28th, we have the PSW Assembly in Ventura, and Reverend Maggie is going, and this kicks off a well-deserved break from the pulpit for her, as she will be gone through May 13th. But we will be busy in the meantime, because on the 5th of May, we have the Teams Restructuring Task Force info meeting. Now, they've been working on a proposal for how we operate as a community for a while now, and they held focus groups on the proposed team model and are now ready to present the framework for the restructuring. Then on the following Sunday, the 12th, we have the budget informational meeting where you all get to ask questions about how we have put the budget together for this upcoming fiscal year. Then on the 19th is the MVUUC annual meeting of the congregation. That is where we will vote on the budget, and we will also vote on the Teams model if we have a quorum of 50%. So please, if you make it to no other meeting, try to make it on the 19th. And speaking of budgets, it's time for your pledge drive update. All right, let me give you some numbers. Our pledge totals as of the end of our last pledge drive. We had 50 pledge units, consisting of 63 members and friends, for a total of $109,815 pledged. Now that was for the end of the pledge drive last year. Totals as of last Monday: 37 pledge units, 50 members, $67,735 pledged. Yeah, that was my reaction too. Now, I would like to see those numbers higher personally, because all of our committees have requested an increase amounting to about $7,300. We have repairs in the neighborhood of about $30,000 that still need to be done. And you can see some of them if you look down or if you look up. And then utilities have also gone up 12% this last year. So I know there are a lot of you out there that have not submitted your pledge cards. If you are one of these people, please, 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 please get it in by next week when the pledge drive ends, so that we can count on this money for the next budget year. Otherwise, we got to factor in a whole bunch of fundraising, and you know, I think we're all kind of fundraised out a little bit. So, okay, on that note, I would like to bring up Jack and Janine Little to tell us why they pledge to MVUUC.
Good morning. So why do we pledge? I think we all know as what was just stated, pledging supports everything that's done around here. The services that Maggie puts on, the building, and as was just stated earlier, unfortunately, the repairs that have to go with it. The RE programming for the kids, the up-and-coming members that will take our places someday. And I always have to state the incredible music that Lily provides every week. Thank you so much. The pledge drive also provides a home for like-minded people to come together, have discussions. So Janine and I have been members here for over 20 years, and something that is really important to me is within that time frame, we have made friends that we feel comfortable calling family. And we wouldn't be able to have those relationships without MVUUC and the pledge drives every year that support that. And I'm certain that there are others here that are in that same position. With this pledge drive, I'm hoping that these continued pledges in the future will provide the same opportunities for the new members coming up so that they can develop those same relationships. That's my part of it. I'm going to turn it over to Janine.
And we argued who was going to go second, so we could say ditto and step down. Like Jack said, we've been here over 20 years, and I really do enjoy the right and desire to search for our own individual truths in this building, but our united mission to do social injustice work together. A few years ago, we did step away for a little bit. Our principles weren't aligning as much to what was happening in the congregation. And at that point, we had to decide what we wanted to do with our pledge. And so after some thought, I've seen people come and go over the years, a lot of them injured by their religion of birth. And I've watched them come in and start to open up and express their curiosity and find themselves, and then leave us, which is fine. They go on with their life. And I just felt that having a place like that in the Inland Empire in today's society was so important. And so fortunately, we were gone for like 6 months, but we continued to pledge. And for that reason, we continue to pledge today.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. Good morning. I know Carissa mentioned it, but let me just say again, I'm going to miss you guys. It's going to seem like a really long time, but this upcoming weekend, I'll be up in Ventura representing our congregation at the district assembly that's up there, and it's not called that anymore, but it just comes out of my mouth that way. So it is a gathering of all of the congregations, and there are most of their ministers and a lot of their members as well that are able to travel and participate. So I will send back all kinds of good information and lots of memories, I'm sure. And then 11 days in New York with my grandson and my son. Really excited. Yeah, my son turns 40 on May 5th, so I don't know how that happened. I asked him, how can you be 40 if I am? How can that happen? But as we begin our time of worship together, we ring the bell 3 times. Honoring yesterday, celebrating today, and awaiting tomorrow. Now I invite Laura Mulroy up. She will light our chalice this morning.
I'd like to invite Jack and Janine to come back up and light the chalice. They just shared with us why they pledged, so I'd like them to light it for us while I share the words of Stephanie Pescatelli. We light this chalice in honor of the web of life. We honor this sacred ecosystem of ecosystems we call home. We honor all of our diverse animal, plant, fungal and insect relatives, and the land, water, and air we all share. May we remember that all life is worthy, all life connected, all life is sacred.
Thank you. Beautiful. Let's sing together our anthem. If you would stand, please. Spirit of Life. We'll sing it first in English, then Spanish, and it will be followed by our congregational covenant. And let's recite this together. We affirm that love is the greatest purpose of this congregation. Our search for truth is our constant star, and service is our prayer. We pledge our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to make choices for a healthier planet, and to live out our Unitarian, Universalist values every day as beloved community. And thus do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life. Please be seated. Make yourself comfortable as we enjoy our beautiful choir.
Hey, young,
like to invite Laura Mulroy to come back up, please, for our wisdom tale for today. And while she's on her way up, we're just going to offer a shout out to those that are joining us on Zoom today and also those who will watch the video later.
The story I'm going to share today is called Love Letter to a Tree by the Reverend Kelly Dignan. And both this story and the chalice lighting I read come from one of our national UU organizations, the UU Ministry for Earth. Once upon a time, there was a child named Alex, a deep soul with a heart full of love. Alex spent countless hours under the shade of wise old trees in their backyard. One in particular was Alex's favorite. One sunny day, as the leaves whispered secrets in the breeze, Alex decided to express their feelings in a love letter to their favorite tree. With a box of crayons and a sheet of paper, they poured their emotions onto the page. The letter began, "Dear tree, you're my best buddy. Your leaves are like green confetti, and your branches are my favorite hiding spots." Alex wrote about memories shared with the tree, picnics beneath its branches, reading stories, and even daydreaming about far-off lands. The letter spoke of the tree's strength, resilience, and the beauty it brought to the garden. Alex marveled at the way the tree sheltered birds and insects, creating a harmonious ecosystem. Carefully folding the letter, Alex nestled it into a small nook in the tree's bark. "This is for you, my dearest friend," they whispered, feeling a warm connection to their living friend, the tree. One stormy night, a powerful wind blew through town. The next morning, Alex rushed outside to find a small branch had been cracked by the storm. Sadness washed over Alex, but determination sparkled in their eyes. With care and creativity, Alex worked with their parent to gather rope and other supplies. Together, the two mended the branch. "You protect me from the sun, and now I'll protect you," Alex whispered. Lo and behold, after several months, the wood on the small branch fused back together, and a new leaf sprouted. Through all the seasons, the bond between Alex and the tree grew stronger and stronger. Their friendship became a beacon of love and resilience, teaching everyone that even the smallest act of kindness can make a big difference. Now, I don't see any children in the sanctuary today, is that correct? We're all children. Well, let's go ahead and sing in honor of all of our children. We'll be back next week.
Working in community with like-minded people, we are each called to step in to make a difference with the gifts that we each bring. We are grateful to be here in this place where we belong, with the invitation to participate in the work of becoming as we activate the change that is needed in this world. Each of us has a unique role to play, and we're here with purpose and calling and giftedness. And yes, these are challenging times, but they are also over-the-top important times. And it is indeed a great gift to be alive now and to be together here in this place with that message that we all love and we know that the world needs. We embrace the honor that it is to share our undesignated offerings 50-50 with Defy Ventures of Southern California. It's a local branch of a national nonprofit that offers both prison and community-based entrepreneurship, personal development, and career readiness programs for those coming out of prison. So I invite those of us in the sanctuary to come forward with your generous offerings, and as we celebrate our support for the many gifts of this community, our offering will now be given and received. One of the traditions we like to share is the sharing of our joys and sorrows, our celebrations and condolences, our sighs, and our smiles. I don't have any of the little notes that you often write out for me if there's something you want shared with the congregation. But there are a few things happening in the world and in our galaxy that I want to share with you. And actually, the two I'm mentioning are related, that tomorrow night at sundown, Passover, the Passover season will begin because of the full moon that falls on the 15th of Nisan. Some of us have that tradition in our history, and it's just a beautiful time to be aware of what people are celebrating and why. So spend a little time reading about Passover. It's really a beautiful tradition. I know, Amy, you have it in your culture as well. So we're all carrying, I'm sorry about the but the is a very rich and full Yeah, because there are so many things happening in the lives of each of us that I just want to have a little quiet time at the end of this prayer for all of those things that we're carrying. It's like we say, our joys and our sorrows, but there seems to be an overabundance of sorrows right now. So let's just hold each other and the world, because it's not just us. You know, it's the people in our lives, the people we work with, the people we pass on the street that we have no idea what people are carrying. So join me in this little prayer, and then we'll have some quiet time together before we sing actually a song that was Dick Olson's favorite, for those of you who remember him. We'll sing We Would Be One after our silence. There are always as many prayers as there are people gathered. And while mine may not spill out in a way that resembles yours, may they connect you to the deepest longings of your heart, the heart of love that we struggle to define, but yet it holds us as one. John Muir is known to have said that when we try to pick out any one thing by itself, we find that it is bound fast by 1,000 invisible cords that cannot be broken to everything in the universe. So as we hold the needs and the desires of one another and those we haven't met or heard about, may those 1,000 invisible cords binding us together take form as that familiar interdependent web of all existence, that web of life that is thriving and pulsing and life-giving. As we hold those reaching, as we reach for those pleading, and as we plead for those asking, as we blend our silent prayers. Beautiful. Thank you. It's so beautiful to hear you guys harmonizing it. I'm sure Dick would really enjoy that. Maybe he did somehow. We don't know. So that opens our options for what we can believe, right? Yeah. I'd like to invite Janine Little. There you are. You're running back and forth today. But thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Let me show this. Get it out of your way. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's perfect. We grow where we are planted, and at this moment, we are all planted here. Please join me in one of my favorite guided meditations. It's best that you have your feet planted on the earth. Thank you. And we're going to be breathing in deeply, and remember to let that breath out as well, just as fully. You can lower your eyes or close them if that feels right. And take some nice deep breaths from your belly, in and out. Make yourself comfortable, stretch if you need to. Just make sure to settle into place where you can focus on your breathing. Continue to feel the air as it flows in and out of your body. Observe the sensations of the air on your mouth or nostrils with each breath. With each continuing breath, allow your body to relax. Let your breath carry away the tension from your flesh, relaxing your feet and legs, letting your belly soften and relax. Breathing away tension from your shoulders and arms, from your neck, relaxing your face and mouth, your eyes. With each breath, your body is becoming warmer, comfortable, and relaxed. Your mind is alert and prepared to be grounded and centered. Now, with your body still and calm, imagine from your feet or spine roots beginning to grow downward. Roots reaching and growing into the earth, down through the soil and stone. These roots meet and mingle with the trees around us. Feel their power unite with your own. Your roots continue to grow deeper, reaching to touch the waters under the earth current, the lifeblood of the earth mother. The dark, cool, magnetic power that nourishes and sustains us. As your roots touch this current, the energy is drawn in and up toward your body. Your breath draws the earth power upward into your body. The invisible magnetic power fills your legs, energizing and strengthening. Waters rise from the earth into your legs, rising into your loins and pooling there. This is known as the cauldron of earth power. You breathe the power upward from the earth through your loins, rising slowly up your spine, then into your heart. The power begins to pool, filling a cauldron in your heart with healing, restoring energy, power rising from the deep through your loins, through your heart, rising up your spine, and now into your head. This power fills a cauldron of wisdom and vision behind your eyes, and rising still, filling all your body and flowing out again through the crown of your head. The power spreads out like water traveling the roots of your body, flowing through your arms and hands, flowing out around your body and back into the earth. The power under the earth flows in you, grounding you in the source of life. The lifeblood that flows through the veins of the earth mother now flow within you. Breathe deep in and out. Spend a moment enjoying this sensation and then feeling energized and vitalized. Allow your awareness to return to the present. As you open your eyes, be fully awake and fully aware. Welcome back. For the Druid community of which I am a part, we immerse ourselves in the seasons of the year. In early spring, we form our intentions for the growing part of the year, often symbolizing these wishes with seeds or saplings. We come together and plant these goals by sharing them aloud with the members of the group. We call upon the four directions to help us nurture and bring our resolutions to fruition. The East stands for the spirit of air, for clarity, insight, and inspiration. The South represents fire and stands for drive, energy, and passion. The West means water, love, emotions, and intuition. And the North represents the deep and fruitful earth of belonging, family, and home. We understand that all of these elements are needed in different combinations to bring a desire into reality. We check in with one another throughout the growing season to encourage, support, and hold one another accountable. And then we come together again in the fall to celebrate our accomplishments and to let go of what no longer is needed. Today, in honor of Earth Day, it's our hope that you will join in by setting an intention to honor the earth. Perhaps you would like to reconnect with nature, or try to better live in harmony with the earth, or perhaps to help regenerate nature's damaged systems. Dana O'Driscoll reported in her book, Sacred Actions, that the average American spends 91% of their lives indoors or commuting. How can we love and protect something we don't feel a part of? Perhaps today you can commit to doing the meditation we just did outside, maybe once a week, or take an evening walk and acknowledge the living creatures as you pass them. Perhaps you'd like to put into action something you've been meaning to do to live a greener existence, things we've all heard about, like eating more organic vegetables and grains, shopping locally, planting native plants in our gardens, carpooling, purchasing quality products that will last a long time. Or maybe you are ready to help regenerate rundown systems by capturing storm runoff, dumpster diving and upcycling, eliminating plastic waste from coming into your life, or eliminating the use of chemicals in your home. Currently, it would take the resources of 5 to 7 Earths for everyone in the world to consume what the average US citizen consumes. This can be an overwhelming thought, but our commitment does not have to be massive to be effective. It does need to be personal. Once you've set your intention today, we're going to ask you to please come forward and accept a seedling. Hold it in your hands, whisper your intention into it, and then plant it into our planter here, which is filled with rich and nourishing soil. At that point, you may return to your seat. For those who would like to plant a virtual sapling, hold it in your hands, whisper to it, and when you're ready, plant it into your nurturing heart. Is there anybody who would like to plant your sapling? For the blessing of the elements, please join me at the end by saying, if you wish, and with this breath, may it be so, followed by that deep breath. Spirits of the air, spirit of the hawk of dawn, soaring through the clear blue sky and bringer of the spring, we call upon you this day to hear our commitments to the earth. Powers of the mind, of our rational selves, and of the wisdom of the ages, guide our paths and help us live in a sacred manner that nourishes and regenerates our lands. And with this breath, may it be so. There's a little ash in one of those bags. Spirits of the fire, spirit of the great stag in the heat of the chase, we call upon you this day to help with our resolution to the earth. Powers of passion and creativity, guide our paths and help us live in a sacred manner that nourishes and regenerates our great lands. And with this breath, may it be so. And there's some water. Spirits of water, spirit of the salmon of wisdom who dwells in the sacred waters of the pool. We call upon you this day to help bring our intentions to fruition. Powers of emotion and intuition, inner gifts and guides, guide our paths and help us live in a sacred manner that nourishes and regenerates our great lands. And with this breath, may it be so. Spirit of earth, spirits of the turtle who carries home wherever she goes, we call upon you this day to help us fulfill our commitment to Mother Earth. Powers of the home and hearth, guide our paths and help us live in a sacred manner that nourishes and regenerates our great lands. And with this breath, may it be so. I encourage you to share your intention aloud with another, with your community, and to recommit to it regularly, perhaps on each full moon. Add, delete, or make any changes needed along the way. And let's celebrate our accomplishments when we get together in the fall. And with this breath, may it be so.
Thank you, Janine. What a beautiful ritual. Now, I'd like to invite Ann Taves up for our teaching.
So you can see in, oh, it's actually up there. Okay, thanks, Jaryrus. So I've added a subtitle to this about grounding our spirituality in the land. And a few months ago, I wouldn't have volunteered to talk about how we might ground our spirituality in the land, because I actually didn't have a very good way to talk about my spirituality. And I realize for those of you who know me a little better than others, that this might seem a little strange coming from someone who studied and taught about religion for almost 40 years. But for the most part, I didn't talk about my own. I think of myself as a humanist, which for me means that my spirituality is grounded in evolution rather than belief in a deity, in God. But I couldn't say a whole lot beyond that. At the same time, there were aspects of my life that seemed important, yet felt disconnected from my basic humanist stance, including my concern for the environment, my desire to feel rooted here in the Pomona Valley, and my interest in history, my family history, our congregational history, U.S. history more broadly. So recently, I found an approach that really works for me and I think might work for us as a congregation. It uses the questions about where, who, and why to ground spirituality in the land. I found this in a book by Elaine Enns and Ched Myers titled Healing Haunted Histories. It turns out that Elaine Enns and I have ancestors and people we know in common. But that isn't what really drew me to the book, which is organized around Elaine Enns' Mennonite family story. Rather, it was their inclusion of maps of 3 watersheds, one where her ancestors and mine lived in Mennonite colonies in Russia and the Ukraine, the one where she grew up in Saskatchewan, and the Ventura River watershed where she lives now, which is on the slide, followed by 2 pages with her maternal and paternal family trees, including some taves in them. These were the pieces that I was exploring in my own life, and the ones she was holding up as integral pieces of what she was calling a spiritual healing process. So it's from them, Enns and Myers, that I'm drawing the idea that looking back on our past, we can distinguish 3 intertwined aspects, which they refer to as landlines, which is the where, bloodlines, the who, and songlines, the why. Woven together, these 3 aspects provide the core out of which we, individually and collectively, act in the world. Landlines are the where, the movement of our ancestors and our more immediate families from their places of origin to North America, their relation to the land and the peoples with whom they settled. For us, that movement ends here in the Los Angeles Basin, where we're situated between the watersheds of the San Gabriel and the Santa Ana rivers, on the traditional lands of the Tongva people. It includes what we and those who came before us have done with and to the land, what we've removed, what we've planted, and what we've built. It includes the water we've channeled into concrete riverbeds and the spreading grounds we use to collect the flood waters flowing down from the San Gabriel Mountains. It includes the rancheros, the citrus groves, the miles of tract houses and strip malls, the freeways, and the warehouses. It also includes our effort to protect and restore the environment, the national forests, the wilderness preserves, and our efforts to revitalize the riverbeds and restore the native ecosystem. Bloodlines, the who. This is the biological and psychological inheritance from our ancestors that we embody as individuals and as a group. It includes all our identities, racial, ethnic, gender, and cultural, and the traumas and/or privileges that have come with this inheritance. For the original inhabitants of the Americas, it includes the displacement and devastation of European colonization. For those whose ancestors were enslaved, it includes the lasting legacy of economic and social marginalization. For those who immigrated, it includes the cultural loss that comes with assimilation to the dominant white culture. And for those who can and do assimilate, it brings oftentimes unacknowledged privileges. These are just some of the aspects of our inheritance. We could talk about gender, we could talk about class, we could talk about violence or its absence in our families and communities. Most of our families, I suspect, are a pretty mixed bag. I used to think of my ancestors as German-speaking Russian Mennonites, Northern Yankee Congregationalists, and Midwestern Methodists. But thanks to my mother's investigations into her father's unspoken past, I now get to add Southern slave-owning Jews. My ancestors, all of them, assimilated to a dominant white Protestant culture in different times and places. As a congregation, I suspect we're also a pretty mixed bag. All of us attracted to a denomination with New England Yankee roots that is collectively wrestling with its own historic legacy. So what do we make of our typically complicated inheritance as individuals, families, and congregations? This is where the song lines come in. Song lines are the why. These are the stories that animate resilience and help us work for justice and healing today. The term comes from Australian Aboriginal cultures, where songlines are not just stories, but stories that are intimately connected to the land. Aboriginal authors have been encouraging all Australians to discover their own songlines. Speaking to them, and by extension to us, Aboriginal authors, and I'm quoting one of them, say, "Songlines root you not only to the place and times you live in now, but to the times and place of those who come before and those who will come after," which sounds a little bit like one of our chalice lighting statements. So songlines weave together the landlines and the bloodlines so that together they provide a core around which and from which we can make connections within ourselves, with others, and with the land we inhabit as individuals and a community. But there's a but here. Enns and Myers stress that the stories passed down to us do not necessarily do this. In this approach, engaging with and as needed reworking our stories is an important spiritual practice. When he was asked about his family history, all my grandfather would say was, quote, that his ancestors came over with Oglethorpe, which is to say that they came to Georgia in the colonial era. This meant, my mother assumed, that his ancestors were poor Protestants who were snatched out of the English debtors' prisons to come to the New World. 15 years ago, my mother figured out that he was actually descended from one of 9 Jewish families that Oglethorpe also helped to settle in Georgia. My grandfather's cryptic story skipped over everything he wanted to leave behind: his family's Judaism, their slave owning, and their embrace of the Southern way of life. Coming to grips with this part of my inheritance seems like an important part of my spiritual practice. It's taking me to an organization called Coming to the Table, an organization that brings together descendants of the enslaved and of the enslavers to acknowledge and seek to heal the racial wounds of the past. But this framework doesn't just work, I would think, for us as individuals, but can also work for us as a community. The Green Sanctuary team, most of us who've been talking from the podium today, were asked to write a history as part of the Green Sanctuary process. It started with the land we inhabit, our engagement with those around us, and the stories we tell about ourselves. As we move forward in the Green Sanctuary process, I think we can keep this where, who, and why in mind. The valley where we're situated, the land we own, the people among whom we've settled, and look for the story that both best expresses who we are and who we want to be in this place. We can ask ourselves what we want to do with the land that we've inherited from our congregational forebears, how we want to engage with and interact with those around us, say right here in Montclair, and we can work out the songline that best enables us to work for healing and justice today. Jaryrus, I think there was one last slide. There you go. That's our watershed, and there's our church.
Wow, thank you, Ann. What a day. And we're not done. Today, we celebrate and welcome 3 new members into our beloved community. And I extend an invitation to each and every one of you here with us today to remember and renew your own moment of membership, even those that were just made members on April 7th. Be warmed by the gifts that each of our new members brings to us as a community. Merriam-Webster defines membership as the state of belonging to a group or an organization, but for us, it goes a little bit deeper, a lot deeper. It's a promise we all make to one another, and these wonderful ones who today become new members at MVUUC are part of our happy throng that makes up this beloved community that is learning and growing together. We pledge to walk in covenant and live in intentional relationship and sacred community together. I'd like to invite Bob Taylor, our co-chair of membership, and also our vice president, Debbie Skirdo, to come on up. And Bob will lead us in a call and response that says a bit about what it means to have a covenant that guides our community. Yeah, for the folks on Zoom, I'd like you to use the mic if that's okay.
Okay, great.
I know it's more comfortable to sit right with the folks, but
Yeah, I like it right over there.
I know. Sorry.
Okay, that's good. As members of the Monte Vista Unitarian Universalist congregation, we are honored to share in covenantal relationships. I invite all of those gathered here today to covenant and affirm the following promises. Please respond to the following statements with a healthy "I will," okay? We covenant to offer our community the love and the respect that we would also like to receive.
I will.
To listen with attention and empathy, recognizing that it is as important to understand as to be understood.
I will.
To speak honestly with care and compassion, honoring the value of differing opinions and the ways we help one another grow.
I will.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Debbie, you're going to give a little bio on each of our new members. Here you go.
Maybe they can come forward. Is this a good time for
Yeah,
them to come and sit in these 3 chairs right up front?
Come on, folks.
This is a wonderful family. It's so exciting to welcome them today. I'm first going to speak about Becky. Let's meet and welcome Becky Pettit. Becky wants to share that she grew up in Maryland with casually Catholic parents. And by the way, we'll hear more from them in a few minutes. Becky says that she is happy to be attending MVUUC with her parents. She lives with her partner, Liana, and is a guardian for an adult with disabilities. Becky enjoys reading, hiking, and playing with her dogs. She is an RN and works as a hospice care manager. This animal lover loves cooking, especially vegan cooking. Becky was drawn to Unitarian Universalism and MVUUC because she believes in equality for all people and seeks community involvement with other people who believe in justice and equality. We're so glad you found us, Becky, and decided to become a member of our community. Welcome, Becky. I'm next introducing Betsy and Pat Pettit. Betsy says their name is pronounced Pettit, like get it? While Betsy grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, Pat was born and raised in Aurora, Illinois. Both were raised Catholic, but eventually drifted away. Pat pursued life in a Benedictine community in his early 20s, and Betsy was Episcopal, but eventually drifted away from that too. They are parents of 2 daughters. You've just met their younger daughter, Becky. Their older daughter, Sarah, was born with various intellectual and physical disabilities. She died in 2002 at age 28. Betsy shares that the most significant thing in her adult life after family was establishing the Sarah Pettit Fund in memory of their older daughter. This fund was active for 15 years and was able to help hundreds of adults and kids like Sarah enjoy and participate in a variety of social and recreational activities that would have been financially out of reach. With great support from close friends and family, the fund made sure that Sarah's loving legacy enriched many lives. Betsy is a retired RN who worked primarily with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and still has a passionate interest in this field. She worked in a Washington, D.C. library and earned a first degree in French and secondly a BS in nursing. Interestingly, Pat also worked in a library in Washington, D.C. He was a librarian at the Law School Library of the Catholic University of America for 35 years. He taught law school also. His employment may have something to do with his avid reading of nonfiction still today. Betsy also enjoys reading and belongs to a Zoom book club. They share a strong interest in baseball too, but Pat adds, not Dodger fans yet. Betsy also enjoys knitting and baking and is interested in hospice nursing and end-of-life care. The Pettits discovered MVUUC online and hope to develop good friends, participate in social justice activities, and develop their personal growth and a sense of belonging. We'll get it and welcome Betsy and Pat Pettit.
I'm Ted. Oh, it's on. Yay. Thanks, Jaryrus. I'm going to hand this to you guys. You can share it as go with.
I'll guide you. No, you won't have to sing. Don't worry.
Oh, good. It's good for everyone.
But now I have a couple questions for you guys. Will you accept from us our gifts of fellowship, discovery, belonging, and service? Will you offer to us your unique identity, your presence, and your gifts? Yes. Will you add your name to the long history of Unitarian Universalists who spread hope through our living faith? Yes. And will you engage with the Monte Vista Unitarian Universalist congregation as a member of our beloved community and work to co-create a world that is dedicated to love and justice? Yes, we will. Yes, thank you. And now, congregation, it's your turn. I'll ask 3 questions. Please respond, we will. Will you welcome these new members with the warmth and comfort of your fellowship? We will. Will you seek to add your strengths and talents to the new gifts that they bring to us? We will. And will you share our triumphs and our struggles as our community grows and changes? We will. Great, thank you. At our new member ceremony, are the others? I see a few new members here. If you want to raise your hand, just to say hi to the Pettits. But at the ceremony that we welcomed them as members, we started a ritual of a potpourri mixture. It represents the many individuated gifts that each person brings into our community. So I invite you to come on up. Choose one of the brown paper bags there, and you'll need the mic. Please read what the bag says and then add your spice to the mix.
Oregano is said to promote good fortune and good health, and has been used in magic spells since ancient times to bring happiness, luck, and protection. The ancient Greeks believed that oregano was an antidote to poisons and could treat convulsions and skin irritations.
I don't know if I should give that to an RN, maybe you know otherwise. But you'd probably deal with that all the time, right? Go ahead. Whatever works. Yeah, whatever works is right.
Peppermint has been used throughout history.
Oh, I get peppermint.
Oh, you want peppermint?
Which one's this? Right? Oh.
So true to form.
I want peppermint. So it says peppermint has been used throughout history to aid in everything from improving digestion to freshening breath to improving concentration. In the realms of magic making, peppermint is used for protection, psychic development, spiritual enhancement, and prosperity.
Yeah.
I like it.
It also keeps spiders away.
Ah, good.
The bright orange petals of our state flower, the California poppy, I just learned something, are an unmatched symbol of the Golden State, perhaps viewed as a floral representation of the fields of gold sought during the gold rush. California poppies can withstand dry conditions and still look stunning thanks to its vibrant orange petals. Besides the gold rush floral symbolism, the flower can represent success, peace, love, or good tidings. It displays its breathtaking petals in our bright sun and folds closed during chilling mornings and evenings.
Just like us. And what we'll do is we're going to mix this up, and then we have these little individual little bags. We're going to make portions of it during the week. So next week, you'll get a little potpourri of everybody. Oh, isn't it pretty with the orange? Yeah, and right now, the poppies are just at their peak. They're so beautiful when you're on the freeway. Yeah. So don't go too far. It's time to sign the book, and Debbie will lead you to do that. See, Brenda put the little stickers. Stay close. Sorry, I'm going to give you a lot of room. Okay, everyone, it's official. Now, I'm going to hand the mic to Betsy, and you'll start with Patrick, okay. And just let us know, what does today mean to you?
Well, today means a lot to me. For the last few months, I've been sort of going through my second novitiate, if you would. I was a member of a Benedictine community as a young man, and the first year was year that you figured out whether you wanted to be there, at least for the very beginning. And for the last few weeks, I've been undergoing with Becky and Betsy for that novitiate or trial period, and it's been a very, very pleasant experience. You've welcomed us. You have given us an opportunity to have a peaceful gathering place without rancor, and I want to thank everyone for that.
I think that it can be difficult sometimes to see ourselves reflected in our communities that we live in. At least I can. I can feel kind of disheartened when I see neighbors or the way that they're viewing community or others in our communities. So being in a space where people I can trust in similar values and I can see that commitment to values and respect for people has been very meaningful to me, and to do that with my parents has been really special.
Thanks.
Just building on that a little bit, I wish I could tell you how very unusual it is in the lives of the three of us, for all three of us to be sharing something this deep. That, you know, I think we all each have our own spiritual lives, and for us to join together, I think says a lot about this church, for us to be able to feel that we can do that. So that is really extraordinarily valuable, and I'm so grateful for it. It also brings the three of us together every week, along with you. I want to thank so many of you who have come up to us before the service and after the service and introduced yourselves and made us feel truly welcome. This is really feeling like a second home. It is for me. Yes. Yeah, thank you. And the other big thing that will tell you how much that I think of this congregation is that our daughter, Sarah, she would go into a traditional church and quite literally run out. It intimidated her a great deal, even though we were very, very close to several priests in our lives, and knew them truly like family. But she just didn't like the church, and she couldn't talk very well. But she, no dirt, no dirt, no church. She would be, I think, having a great time here at MVUUC. And I'm hoping that she's here today.
Thank you all so much. Welcome. Welcome home. Sarah, too. And now I invite everyone to stand as we sing our closing song, Perfect for Earth Day, our Blue Boat Home. And as Laura extinguishes our chalice, let's say together our unison benediction. As we close our time together and extinguish our chalice flame, may we remember to let love guide us. May we be kind, be brave, be just, be merciful, be hopeful. For when we do, we hold the chalice flame as a guide for our lives and a light for all the earth, our blue boat home.